It's time now for a look at the latest in local news. In the news, arrests have been made and charges have been filed against 2 juveniles in connection with the death of 8-year-old Noah Bush, who passed away back on May 16th. Wayne County Sheriff Chuck Mosley released the information yesterday afternoon in respect to the death of Noah Kenneth Bush. It reads as follows. On July 8th of this year, the Wayne County Sheriff's Office received the long-awaited autopsy report from the GBI investigations on the condition of Noah's body. This report confirmed the absence of any injuries to his body that would be consistent with a fight or use of weapon to injure him. The medical examiner explained his findings in detail and ruled the cause of death as drowning. Due to the information discovered in our investigation, the manner of death was ruled as a homicide. This finding was based on the fact that one of the 2 juveniles who were with Noah that day pushed him into the deep portion of the borrow pit that they were waiting in. Both of the juveniles who were with Noah will be charged for their part. These juveniles are 11 years of age and 10 years of age. State law will not allow for the names to be released, but their charges are as follows. Juvenile complaint forms have been completed on both as follows. The first juvenile, age 11, charges are simple battery, involuntary manslaughter, concealing the death of another, and criminal trespassing. Juvenile number 2, the 10-year-old, charges are concealing the death of another and criminal trespassing. The investigation continues as we await the completion of the enhancement of the videos obtained during this process. If there is incriminating information required from these videos, those implicated will be dealt with swiftly upon learning of their actions. As we made clear, the prosecution of juveniles is completely different from that of adults. This prosecution should move quickly and hopefully bring closure to Noah's family. Once arrests were made yesterday and charges filed, as I mentioned, the juvenile system moves very quickly. The next step was a marathon detention center, which was held yesterday afternoon in Courtroom C here in Wayne County, which got underway at 3:30 and ended after 6:30 p.m. The media is banned from the courtroom due to it being a juvenile case, but after it was over, we talked with Noah Bush's family's attorneys and got their thoughts on the judge's ruling. All that coming after this word from our sponsor and other commercial messages, so please stay tuned. In other news, it was a very long day Wednesday for the Bush family and their attorneys. It began early in the morning yesterday at 9:30 with a meeting with District Attorney Keith Higgins and Wayne County Sheriff Chuck Mosley. That meeting took place down in Brunswick, Georgia at the Brunswick DA's office. And that meeting lasted several hours after 12 noon. After the meeting, charges again were filed, and once charges were filed, a detention hearing was set that Wednesday afternoon at 3:30 in Courtroom C here in Wayne County. On hand, the 2 juveniles who had been charged in the death of Noah Bush, along with their family members and attorneys. The juvenile judge was Jerry Caldwell, the state represented by Assistant DA Christy Boyles and lead investigator Stephen Crane, who was on the stand for over an hour and a half in the hearing, which was closed to the media. But again, WIFO-FM waited outside the courtroom and learned from the Bush family's attorneys from the Bozeman law firm in Savannah that Judge Caldwell found enough evidence to hold the case over to the next step and sent the 2 juveniles to the Juvenile Detention Center last night in Claxton, Georgia. Here's our exclusive interview with the attorney Davis and Bozeman, who we talked to immediately after that 3-hour marathon detention hearing in Courtroom C Wednesday afternoon. Here are the attorneys of the Bush family, a long 3-hour detention hearing. I understand the boys have been held over and they're headed to Claxton to the detention center. Is that your understanding?
That's right. The judge found probable cause and reason to detain these 2 juveniles for involuntary manslaughter, for 1 juvenile concealing the death of another, and simple assault, as well as for the other juvenile for concealing the death of the another and for criminal trespass. And so these are very serious allegations, and it took 55 days, a tremendous outpouring of community support, and the mother never giving up on her belief that what they told her initially was not true, that this was not an accident, that this was the work of others who not only participated in knocking Noah into that water and holding his head under water, which we heard today, but then concealing it. And I'm not sure we're done with the arrest in this case. And we won't stop until there's full accountability for every person involved.
When you say that, are you talking about the parents of the 2 children involved?
That's correct. And I want you to understand this. What happened was they knew what their children had done, and then they walked around with this family pretending to look here, there, and everywhere for a missing child. All all the while knowing that his body was submerged underwater. That is the kind of evil that this community should repudiate. And I think that this judge took the first step of expressing his outrage for these actions.
The day began with the meeting with the sheriff and the DA. Did you get a chance to ask both of them why they haven't charged the parents at that meeting?
We did. We spoke directly to the sheriff. We believe that the district attorney has been transparent, opened up his file, allowed this family, provided this family opportunity to look in the file, to look at videos, to look at the evidence. That doesn't happen all the time, and so we applaud this district attorney. We have had from the very beginning serious concerns about the investigation. That continues to be an issue, and we thought and believe that there should have been an arrest of the parents today. That didn't happen, but we are still pressing for that. We still believe that those arrests are imminent, and we're not going to stop until that happens, because for this family, that represents full justice. That is what this family's been fighting for. That's what this community has been standing with this family for. And so it's critically important that any adult that knew of Noah's death be held accountable, just like these juveniles today are being held accountable.
Are you satisfied with the charges against the juveniles?
The charges are based on the evidence that have been provided to the district attorney. Obviously, we believed from the very beginning that Noah was murdered. The description of an involuntary manslaughter is not a murder, but it is a responsibility for the loss of a life. And so it's serious charges, very serious charges.
What's the next step?
The next step will be an adjudication hearing. Could take place within the next 10 days for these juveniles. We, again, believe that even before then, there has to be an arrest made by this sheriff of these adults in order for this community to know that this has been taken seriously the way it should be.
Talking about juveniles, young children, so what do you think is the correct punishment? I mean, what are these kids looking at, possibly? Are they going to be rehabilitated, or are they just going to, what could be the punishment?
Well, I think before we start talking about punishment, we need to get the full story, which is what any mother would want. What happened to my baby? And the lies and the deception, the obfuscation by the parents mean that we haven't had that full story. Let's get the full story out, and let there be due process that every person is entitled to, and then we'll get to some resolution of this for these juveniles. But for these adults, I think their actions are compounded in terms of their culpability, because they are parents, and yet they overlook the suffering of this mother for their own interest, and that's something that can't stand.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And once again, those are the two attorneys representing the Noah Bush family, the Bozeman law firm from Savannah, Georgia. Noah's mother was present in the courtroom yesterday, stood by her attorneys while our interview took place. Both juveniles received a bond at the hearing. One received a $10,000 bond, other received a $5,000 bond. But again, yesterday afternoon, both boys were sent to a detention center in Claxton, Georgia. WIFO-FM also learned that in the courtroom yesterday during that detention hearing, a mother of one of the two juveniles who had been charged was arrested and charged with truancy, as the Sheriff's Department reports that one of these juveniles missed more than 80 days of school this past year. We have the mother's name, but again, we're attempting to keep the names of the two juveniles private. That's why the immediate ban from the detention hearing yesterday. So we're not going to report the mother's name. Once again, charges have been filed against an 11-year-old child and a 10-year-old child. They most likely will appear back in court in a matter of days. Both have counsel representing them. Noah Bush's family and their attorneys want more. They want the parents of the two juveniles charged with concealing the death as well, but so far no parent has been charged. WIFO-FM will continue to follow the story as it develops, and we'll be back with some final news notes after this word from our sponsor, other commercial messages, so please stay tuned. Final notes of the news: the Wayne County has a new full-time EMS director, as Patrick Parsons from Camden County has been hired as Wayne County's full-time EMS director. County Administrator Paul Droddy released the following statement. He says, "We're very excited about the hiring of Patrick Parsons for Director of EMS. As part of the interview process, he asked and was allowed to meet with the employees of EMS and was very impressed with what he saw and heard. Patrick brings a wealth of knowledge and experience in the EMS field, along with administrative experience, having a degree in education and instructor certificates in fire and EMS, and the vision he articulated in the interview process checked all the boxes for what we were looking for in a director. I'm excited to see how Mr. Parsons will build on the legacy of the late Bobby Kickleiter and Richard Johnson. Again, his first official date to start is August the 1st, but again, Wayne County's hired a new full-time EMS director. Again, he comes from Camden County. His name is Patrick Parsons. A couple of back-to-school events are set. Arthur Williams Middle School hosting a 6th grade jump start August 1st from 5:30 to 8 p.m. This is for parents and guardians and students. Jumpstart serves as an opportunity for you and your upcoming 6th grader to learn about middle school. Focus during this time is to connect with you and ease the transition to middle school. Again, Jumpstart engages upcoming students with fun activities like a school tour and fashion show. Get the opportunity to meet the staff and receive information on the block schedules, sports, band, school rules, all that taking place August 1st from 5:30 to 8 p.m. The Wayne County Board of Tourism going to conduct their second Touch a Truck event. It's going to take place Saturday, August 10th from 9 to 1 p.m. in downtown Jesup. The quiet hour will be from 9 to 10 a.m. Again, it's a back-to-school event sponsored by the Wayne County Board of Tourism, the Jesup Downtown Development Authority, Wayne County EMA. All takes place Saturday, August 10th from 9 to 1. The event will feature heavy equipment, emergency vehicles, tow trucks, bucket trucks, along with food and information booths where kids can see them up close. The event will be centered around West Walnut Street between North Macon and Northeast Broad Streets. Streets will be closed to vehicles. First hour of the event will be a quiet hour for sensory-sensitive children. During the time, no sirens will be used. Visitors are encouraged to shop local businesses in the downtown area for back-to-school supplies. For vendor or booth information, contact the Wayne County Board of Tourism office. That number 912-427-3233. For vehicle participation, contact Donnie Ray at 912-424-0376. Once again, the second annual Touch a Truck event set for Saturday, August 10th from 9 to 1 in downtown Jesup. And that'll do it for latest in local news. Sports comes your way in a few minutes. Bob Morgan saying have a great day.